Welcome back everybody for another YouTube video. Bit of a different one. As you can see, we are going to be doing some sightseeing together. And it's good to get out into nature. You know, we spend so long behind the screens. Sometimes it's good to come out and touch some grass or some snow. In this case, whilst it's still legal to do so. However, today's video is going to be an interesting one because I want to talk to you guys about what I believe the next biggest opportunity in the entire cryptocurrency space is, and that is DePIN, so decentralized physical infrastructure. If you look at what Web3 is doing, you know, Bitcoin of course spawned the movement. It's essentially trying to decentralize the world and make it a more fair place, you know, and we know the kind of shenanigans that the central banks that were all founded by the international banking cartel. We know the kind of shenanigans that the Federal Reserve and the other central banks around the world are pulling, and we know that it is ultimately all for your impoverishment. So this entire industry was really born out of a need to decentralize. You know, that's what Bitcoin brought to the world, and it used cryptography and a distributed ledger to do that. However, decentralization doesn't stop there. There are many things that can be decentralized with the use of crypto and of course with the use of a distributed ledger. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about DePIN, which stands of course again for decentralized physical infrastructure. And the interesting thing about these systems, these distributed ledger systems like Ethereum and like Cardano, is that a lot of them actually run on institutions. So a lot of the Ethereum nodes, a lot of the Ethereum stake pools, their infrastructure is built on Amazon Web Services. Same for Cardano. I think it's about 30% of all the Cardano stake pools utilize Amazon Web Services, and we'll put a chart on the screen just for anybody that doesn't believe me. So there's a kind of irony here in regards to some of these systems trying to facilitate a decentralized web, a decentralized world, and then, you know, one which we move away from the kind of techno lords, the technocrats, the techno-feudalistic kind of view. And the irony is that we're doing that via leveraging their infrastructure. And this is where DePIN steps in, because DePIN essentially decentralizes these networks. And it's not just nice for these networks to be decentralized, it's even better that in doing that, you make them cheaper, you make them, in many cases, more secure and censorship resistant. So DePIN is essentially a competitor to the likes of Amazon Web Services in regards to decentralized storage, you know, and we're going to be bringing you guys a number of altcoins that are doing this. And you also have decentralized computing. The world that we're moving towards is one where everything is computerized. You know, blockchain is going to tokenize everything, but the need for compute is almost going to become a commodity like oil in the world that we're moving towards. And the way that we're heading is towards a real techno-feudalistic world where the likes of Amazon, Microsoft and Google and a handful of others will basically have ultimate power over the masses. And this is why I'm such a fan of these decentralized infrastructures. Things like decentralized storage systems, decentralized computing. We're even exploring now tokenizing knowledge. And also, I think one really important thing that needs to be worked on, and we're looking into projects that are doing this, is decentralized AI. You are, whether you like it or not, manipulated by technology and these companies. You know, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid Google, and they run algorithms that get to know you and suggest things to you. As human beings, we are a constant cycle of input and output. And what I mean by that is how we learn. How you learn to ride a bike is you get on it and you fall off. And you put an input in and you get an output. And this is how we learn. It's a constant loop. And we now live in a world where we have technology like this 24/7. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? What's the first thing you do when you go to sleep? My grandparents I recently went to visit, and believe me, they are not technologically savvy. However, They're both wearing Apple Watches, they both listen and use Alexa, and they both now watch things on YouTube. And YouTube is very quickly taking over broadcasting. So this idea of decentralizing these infrastructures, NFTs is a great example. The vast majority of NFTs exist on Amazon. So your NFTs, when you buy an NFT, that NFT, I can't remember exactly what it is, but that NFT is actually stored on Amazon. It's not stored on the blockchain. It would be way too expensive to do this. The only interesting project as a layer one that is actually dealing in-house with the infrastructure side of things and not giving it perhaps over to Amazon and Google and Microsoft and whoever else it may be, Alibaba, is ICP, Internet Computer, which we will, and let me know if you want a full video on Internet Computer, ICP. I was a little bit worried about getting into ICP because of the leaving of quite a few of their initial developers. You know, when the ICP token shot up to where it did, these people were paid in ICP for their contribution. You know, a lot of them became multi-millionaires overnight and all of a sudden decided they didn't want to work on the protocol. But I think we are past that now. You know, all projects, all businesses, as somebody that's had many businesses, it's never really smooth sailing, and a smooth sea has never made a skilled sailor. So remember that in regards to ICP. So we will be looking into that again. But decentralized physical infrastructure is just like Bitcoin, is providing an alternative store of value, an alternative money. Decentralized physical infrastructure, DePIN, is providing an alternative infrastructure that is going to be, not only is it of extreme importance in regards to where we currently are in the world and with the kind of technological revolution, but it's going to become of the utmost importance in this world that we're moving towards. There's some great films coming out. It's interesting how films can often be, given enough time, accurate. And it's very interesting to me how, you know, The Pod Generation was a recent film that I watched, which is very interesting. And I actually know a number of gynecologists that say actually this could be possible in the future to have technology play more and more of a role of the mother during that time period. But let's not go down that perhaps rather deep and dark rabbit hole. Let's focus on what I believe is an amazing opportunity, and it's going to be a real narrative. So if you think about the movement that's behind Bitcoin, it's ultimately all about moving away from the central banks, and through central banking, they are the sole causer of the boom and bust cycles. They cause it. They cause the volatility in the market, and the insiders that are privy to what's going to happen come along and they extract from the masses to the few. So this is all a big game in regards to the current monetary system that we have. There's nothing tangible behind it. There's nothing that's backing it. I know the US government is backing it and the UK government, and it's basically backed by violence. But there's, you know, this narrative is just as applicable, not just to money, but to infrastructure, to data, to storage, digital decentralized storage, to pretty much anything. You can decentralize pretty much anything. You can use a distributed ledger to do that, and you can use a token. I always get this question, well, why does this project need a token? Why does that project need a token? Well, the simple reason is to maintain security in many cases. If you look at how Chainlink utilize their token, it's essentially to maintain and ensure honesty. If somebody's not honest, they will lose they will get slashed, essentially, the same way Polkadot does it with their validators. But it's to incentivize participation in the network and the running of it and the security of it in many cases. So lots of these projects have tokens that are attached to them. If you look at why America is as powerful as it is, yes, of course, we know about the military force that it is, but actually it's very powerful also due to the technology companies that it has, because they are essentially monopolies, if you will, on these various areas that they operate in. So it's one reason America's as powerful as it is, and it's only going to get more powerful without it's only going to get more powerful if we don't have competitors. You know, there's nothing, the world that we live in is not a free market by any stretch of the imagination. You essentially have monopolies. It's monopoly capitalism. It's not a free market. It's nothing of the sort. And essentially, the vast majority of data, the vast majority of compute is controlled by a very small number of individuals. And with these decentralized systems, I believe that we can change that. And stay tuned to the channel, guys, because we will be updating you in regards to these systems and some of the ones we're interested in the weeks and months ahead. So that's really all I've got for you guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the different video format. And on that note, I'm going to love and leave you.